Hey guys, how you doing? And hello to my replay viewers. KLBELVIN here, Friday afternoon here in New York. Sunny New York, as you can see as the sun shines on my face. Gonna chill for a second, just rock out to some Luther. I miss my man. Just don't hear music like this as much anymore. Yeah, guys, I want to talk about success today. Success is one of the most subjective things that... Turn that down some, I'm sorry. Success is one of the most subjective things that you can talk about and deal with, because success is truly in the eye of the beholder. And too often, people that we deem successful may have the worst problems that you may not know anything about. But this scope is about celebrating your small victories and allowing them to remind you that you are successful. Because too often we look at our big goal, whatever that big goal is. Thank you for sharing, guys, and thank you for the hearts. And yeah, oh yes, I was just saying, we don't get music like that no more. You know, I'm a smooth R&B junkie, but too often we get so caught up in, I guess, the big goals and what we deem successful that we sometimes forget the small victories. And we forget that God will sometimes lay out in front of us the things that he wants us to do. And instead of enjoying those small victories, we will sometimes place ourselves in a funk because we believe we're not where we should be. And we don't stop and really enjoy the small victories. So the reason why I'm saying this is today, because as an independent publisher, I work with many authors who have come to my wife and I to work on their books, to help create their books, to help get their dreams in place. And over the 6 years now, over the 6 years that my wife and I have been doing this, 28 books later, I appreciate every small victory. I appreciate any success that the authors that we have worked with achieve. I got a call today from one of the authors that's in one of the poetic anthologies that we did. And he said he's being honored. No problem. Looking forward to the call. He said he's being honored for his work in the poetry book that we created. And so he said, I really have to have you there because this wouldn't have been possible without you. And I'm excited by that. I'm excited that he's being honored in a book that we created, asked him to be a part of, and now he's being honored for it. I'm not hating that it's not us. It is us, because if we don't put the book together, that platform, we're not connected to him. Doesn't mean that his talent wouldn't have been observed somewhere else. But God placed us in his path to ask him to be a part of it. He said yes, and we put that book out. Now, I can sit down and look at the overall sales of that book and go, I thought that book should have sold more, because I did. But I'm not going to allow that to taint the small success that someone that we asked to come do business with us is being celebrated by what we created. That's a success. Another author that we worked with, we actually did 2 books with him. Love, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We did both of his books and then established him to be able to work on his own. So he actually doesn't even need us anymore. We actually set him up to be able to take care of all his business himself. So he came to us with no books, left us with his own small company. So now he makes money on his own. Listen, I love it. And he was contacted to have his book archived in the Schomburg African American Library in Harlem, one of the largest African American history libraries in the world. So a Braven Publishing book is going to be archived with works of our people's history forever. Forever. And we worked on that book. We created that book with him. My name, my publishing company is in that book with him, and it will be there forever. I love it. I told his wife, whenever they set up the celebration, I'll be there too. And if I don't do nothing but just sit in the back and smile, thank you so much. That's enough for me. And over the years, what I have learned is I have no problem playing the shadows, because you have to sometimes enjoy the light shined on others, even if you played a major part in it. If it's their light, enjoy it. Because if you start to add those small victories up, you'll look back and go, I got a history here. I've done some things in this world. God has been great to me. And it's not going to be measured by the amount of money. It may not be measured the way other people measure success. That's why I started this scope off with saying success is subjective, because there's some people that will deem you successful by how much money you make. No. There's some people that will deem you successful because you've been close to some successful people. No. You are successful when you can actually look at what you've done in the lives of others. That's all I ever try to do. And as Pollyannic as that sounds, I get up every day and I say, who have I helped today? Who has my company helped today? That was the whole purpose for starting the company, to give authors an opportunity to create their work, be in full control of their work, and put it out to the world and know that we are putting out works that are going to help people in some form or fashion. So when I tell folks I don't do street lit that's focused on violence, I don't do erotica that's just centered on sex for no reason. When I say that my wife and I are a faith-based company and we don't do those type of works, people go, you know how much money that you're giving away? Okay, not all money is good money to me. And I'll gladly walk away from that, because it is phone calls like today. It is emails like the one I got about the museum and the phone call I got today that lets me know God is paying attention to what I'm doing, and he's happy with what I'm doing, because he's rewarding me the same way we reward our children, to say, I like the job that you did. I like that work. I like that grade you brought home. So that's what I do. I am trying to serve the God that I pray to in a way that when I look and see what's out in the world and can know that the books that I help create are helping someone. We're currently working on a book where a young lady is getting out to the world about molestation. Very difficult, very touchy subject, but we're helping her with her book. And we're almost finished. We'll be finished in, I should be finished in about a week or two. But she came to us because she was referred to us by somebody else. And that's another thing. I pretty much work on referrals. I don't go out and solicit and beg people to come do business with me, because I know how I am as a businessman, and I'm just not going to do business with certain people. So I don't have to solicit. Now people say, you know how much money you're giving away, but not, okay. And I noticed that when you talk to some people about success, they tend to always bring up money. No, it is the small victories. Do I like Michael Jackson? I love Michael Jackson, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. But yes, I love Michael Jackson. Thank you for the hearts in the Michael Jackson question. Love Mike. Mike is one of my favorite entertainers. I wish we had him back. But we really have to stop, because you know what? It is so easy to look past your blessings, to look past the fact that you've done some things. Well, my head is screwed on tight, because I'm about to make a move from New York to Delaware, and I'm stepping out on faith. I'm about to walk away from teaching. And if I told you how much I made a year and how much I'm walking away from, some people would think I'm crazy. But I serve a God that can replace anything that I walk away from in the human realm. So I don't worry about it. And when you step out on faith, you're not stepping out on faith if you walk away from $20. That's not really, you're not taking any real big leap by walking away from $20. How much do I make a year? I make enough that by stepping out on a limb, that most people won't do it. That's how much I make. I make enough money that most people panic when I tell them how much I'm walking away. But see, that lets me know that they're not where they need to be with themselves. I'm comfortable with me. And that's the reason why I went to school. They can't take these degrees from me, so I'll make money. They can't take my business from me, so I'll make money. Will I make as much as I'm making right now? Who knows? I'll leave that in the Lord's hands. But you cannot go forward if you're going to stare at what's going on behind you. And when you step out on faith, it is because you trust the God you pray to. That's why I don't try to solicit people into believing what I believe. This is a hard path that I'm on. Hard walk that I'm on. And I wouldn't dare ask you to stop doing what you're doing to praise the Lord that I pray to unless you're ready to walk this hard path. So that's why I don't understand why folks is out trying to indoctrinate anybody. I tell them, you might not be ready for this if you don't understand what I'm doing. But seriously, I guarantee if you look in the mirror, there's some things that you've been successful with that you might have overlooked. And you have to celebrate that. And you have to let the world know. I don't care if somebody go, so what? I just thought you might like to know. Do not get offended because someone decides they want to try to tear down you making mention of your success. Sing the Lord's praises for blessing you. And whoever wants to try to knock it, let them knock. No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. See, that's one of the things for me when I scope. I want you to see what I'm going through, good and bad. I want to be transparent because not every day is going to be great. But God never said every day was going to be great. But when the good things happen, they happen. And you enjoy them. Okay, I don't know New York. Okay. And we have to share that with each other. Hey, what's going on there, Otis? And so to have a young brother being acknowledged for his work and to know that we created the book to give him the platform for his work to be seen. Now, here's the blessing in that. I'm in that book. So everyone that buys the book from him is going to get to meet me. I am one of the poets. Yes, I'm a Christian. You got to take the T off the end of that. It's Christian. Not Christian. Christian is a person. I'm in that book also. I am one of the featured poets in the 11 poets that are in that book. So that's another reason why you celebrate the people that you work with, because when they do what they do, if you did what you were supposed to do, you will still be acknowledged in some form or fashion. Somebody has to get the spotlight, but doesn't mean that you may not be on the stage. And sometimes just being on the stage is a success. Not everybody can sing lead. I don't mind. As long as I'm on the stage, I'm good. And if I'm sitting in the front row, I'm waving my hands and enjoying it either way. What do I think about? This ain't the scope for that. I have love for Jews. That's what I think about Jews. I don't know, you have to be more direct with your questioning, but now's not the time for that. If you want to ask me those questions, main office at bravenpublishing.com. I really hate to block you on foolishness, but it's not adding to the conversation, so please don't take away from it. Main office at bravenpublishing.com. Ask me any question you want. I'll gladly answer. I have love for everyone that you just typed about because their religious beliefs don't affect mine. You're welcome. And I think that's another thing, too, is that we have to show love to everyone and allow people to make whatever choices they're going to make and just live the way that we need to live so folks can see and make whatever choices they need to make. That's the whole purpose of this scope, is that success is subjective. So for me, I choose to see success as me making progressive steps in the name of the God that I pray to, because he has allowed me so many things that in essence, I don't deserve. But I put the work in, so like anything else, I am earning from what I planted. No one gave me any of the things that I'm doing except for God. So that's why I give him the credit. But I keep grinding and I enjoy the steps. When I know that somebody that we worked with is being acknowledged, we had something to do with that. When I know someone is being contacted because their work is going to receive an award, we had something to do with that. When I hear somebody say, oh my God, they love my book, we had something to do with that. When I'm watching the scope and I see somebody holding their book up and we helped publish that book, we had something to do with that. I don't have to jump on a scope and beat somebody in the head and go, oh, you didn't mention my company. No, if they're selling books, they're mentioning my company. And people will open up and go, who did this for you? Okay, magically I come back to the forefront. So if you just do what you're supposed to do, support those that you want to see do well, it'll come back. I say it like this. I'll give you an example. And I say this often when I'm out and when I'm speaking. To really live this life the right way, you got to be willing to set the table, 6, 7 courses, everything to the T, and invite somebody else to eat. Yes. How hard is that? Yes. Cook the meal, set the table, everything, lay it out, and then invite somebody else to eat and just lay in the background and chill. Most people can't do that. Most people will say, if I cooked it, I want to eat it. And if I prepared it, I want to sit there. My logic is, I'm going to let others sit down. I'm going to let others eat. I'm going to let others enjoy what I'm trying to put together. Because I'm going to trust that when it's all said and done, I'm going to be rewarded for my work. And I may not be rewarded now. But then that means I'm storing up treasures in heaven. Now, if you don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. Hey, how we doing? And storing up treasures in heaven is something that you're not going to understand unless you're walking this rocky road with me. But that's also part of the road. Here, I'll say your name. There you go. How was that? Oh, I might have blocked that person premature. Let's see if we can unblock them. I forgot that song was playing. See, sometimes I be too quick. I smooth block somebody for no reason. I apologize. I have to maybe go back and unblock them. I'll do that later this evening. But anyway, guys, seriously, I really want you to understand that. And I appreciate the hearts, definitely. I appreciate the hearts. I appreciate the shares, because these are the things that we have to do with each other, is allow others to see the things that God is doing for us and share that with each other. Have those conversations, invite each other to the table, allow each other to eat, hold each other up, and celebrate when others are doing well, and know that your time is coming. Have your goals, have your focus, and along that journey, help as many people as you can, because you'll be surprised how that help finds its way back when you need it. He called me today and he left me a message. He said, big bro, I don't even want to text you this. I don't want to leave it in a voicemail. I want you to call me. I called him. He was too excited. He said, yo, I'm being recognized for my work in wordplay. I can't wait. As soon as I get the information, I'm going to send it to you because I want you there. Listen, that by itself is rewarding. His night, his celebration, and what did he say? KL, I want you there because it was your company that allowed me to be here. I'm good. Yes, yes. We have to, because that's what Jesus required from us, to be servants. And I have no problem with it. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to celebrate. And I ain't going to jump up and act a fool, but I am going to celebrate for my man, because the idea that he is being rewarded, and we asked him to be a part of this book because I saw the talent in him. And he's been telling me, I've been selling books like crazy because I've been thinking about what you told me to do. So here he's used my advice and he's allowing that to make him money. You can't do any better than that. And in time, people will find out who he is. People will find out who I am. And I guess I'll become more of a success. Oh, Patty LaBelle. But this is what it's about, guys. And so my company is BRAVIN Publishing, www.BRAVIN, BRAVIN, BRAVINpublishing.com. We are a literary service provider. What we do is we provide all the literary services that an author needs to publish their work. I feel bad about that person I blocked for the song that was on. Now it's not sitting well with me. Greetings from Russia. I got to go back and unblock that person and offer them a personal apology. I feel bad about that. Actually, when I get on my computer tonight, I'll send a message on Full Scope. I'll send them a direct message. We have to celebrate over competition. Well, competition is healthy, but you cannot let it get to the point that it blinds you to hating or disliking someone's success. I can compete with everybody, but I'm not going to be dejected when someone else is doing well, because competition helps keep our behinds in motion. But at the same time, what we want to do is not begrudge somebody when they do well. When someone else do well, celebrate them. See, I celebrate anytime literary folks, independent literary folks do well, because it's going to open up doors for more of us who are out here doing it. My hope is that I can hold open doors for folks who write so much better than me, that they open up the doors that people then will pay top dollar for all of our works. I think I'm a pretty good author. I've heard that I'm okay, but I want to see all of us do well, because there's enough paper for all of us to make. So with BELVIN Publishing, we provide all the literary services that you need, from securing your ISBN number, your barcode. We have graphic designers that can help you design your book cover. We do the typesetting. We set up your Library of Congress information. Now, it's nothing that we do that you probably couldn't do yourself, but if you're not comfortable or you haven't done the research or you just don't want the headache, like I always find it funny when people go, well, all you're doing is providing services that people could do for themselves. And I say, okay, what do restaurants do? You couldn't cook the food yourself? You go because you want to have someone make the food for you, bring the food to you. So come on. See, I find it hilarious when people say, I can't believe people pay you for that. I honestly can't believe that people will spend $200 for a steak that you can light the grill and do the same thing. But, you know, if that's what you want, or if that's what you feel you need, I'm not going to knock your hustle. Like I tell folks, don't knock mine. So when I started this company 6 years ago, it's because I believed that God sent me a message to help other authors. Because when I did my first book in 2007, I was out just leaving. Yeah, I know. I'm leaving in July. We set our moving date, July 8th. We should be in our new apartment in Delaware. Wife and I are done with New York, but we'll be definitely traveling back and forth because we do business here. Plus my business roots is here. I'm not sure if I'm going to transfer my business to Delaware. I might leave base of operations in New York and just work out of Delaware. But when I wrote my first book in 2007, it was a poetry book. Everyone said, KL, don't do poetry. No one buys poetry. And I said, I know what God put on my spirit. So I said, you know what? You're right. I am not going to sell poetry since everyone said don't do it. Here's what I did. I sold me. I let folks know who was the man behind the poetry. I let them know what the poetry meant. Hey, what's up there, Glenn? I let people feel why I wrote what I wrote. I wanted people to see what a man in transition really was all about. And it really was. I was a man in transition. So I created the book to read like my life. It started with the spiritual man that I was and led you back to the man of the flesh that I used to be. So the dirty poems, as you want to say, were in the back of the book. And I had some saints come at me like, yo, how you going to put that in the book? That's ridiculous. That's nasty. And I said, did you read what I said at the beginning of the chapter? That this man will never be seen in the world again. But I want you to see what a misogynistic whore looks like, or what I used to be. So fighting with my old saints, boy. But it's okay. I love them too. And so the book did extremely well because I didn't sell poetry. I let folks know that the piece that I wrote about my wife came from my heart. The piece that I wrote for my mom was a birthday gift. And the piece that I wrote for brothers who were struggling with seeing their children or being with their children, I wrote a piece called I'm Not Superman, I'm Dad. Because too often brothers want to be supermen to their children when all they need to do is be dad, and their children will lift them to superhero status. But unfortunately, they go way out to try to be superheroes and then fail at just being dad. And I don't care whether the children are with you or not. It is a matter of just do what you need to do. Yeah, they have to know the backstory. Exactly. But unfortunately, some people, when they read the backstory, all they could look at was that the poems were of an erotic nature. Now, as I grew as a Christian man, I didn't need that. So I started to explain to folks, because now when I wrote my second book, From Gigolo to Jesus, it was to give you the actual nonfiction understanding of who I was and what I had become and how I had became that. But back in 2007 and 2008 and 2009, when I was out selling my books, I came across so many authors who were telling me how much they were paying for their books. And I was shocked. I was like, why are you paying so much? And it all came to a head. I was in North Carolina at an event, and I had taken one of my books and signed it and gave it to the proprietor of the restaurant that we were at. They had let us perform. It's about 7 authors. They had let us perform, speak about our books, whatever. And the author, the owner pulled me to the side and said, hey, brother, I don't know about this group that you with. I'm not really feeling how they do business, but I like the way you do business. I'd like to invite you back down here by yourself, and maybe we could put some things together. And I said, okay, listen, I'm sorry that you feel that way about the group of guys and young ladies that I'm with, but I gave him a copy of my book. I signed it and I said, this is for you. He thanked me, gave me his information, fine. So one of the sisters that I was with said, KL, how you just give books away? And I said, why not? I give books to all the proprietors at events that I do because it's my way of saying thank you for allowing me to come and sell books or to be seen and be heard. She said, but we gave them money with all our book sales. I was like, okay, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And then she said, I can't afford to do that. And I said, what do you mean you can't afford to do that? She said, if I gave books away, I would go broke because I got to give my publisher back money. And I said, what do you mean you have to give your publisher back money? You're selling books, you got to send the money back to your publisher to then have the money sent to you? She was like, yeah. And then when she told me how much her books cost, I was like, no. So when I told her how much my books cost, she almost lost her mind. So what I have found at that point, I realized that a lot of authors were signing bad deals with folks who were only maybe a level higher than they were, and trusting that the publisher was going to do everything for them, when actually the publisher was just simply holding their hands in their pockets, and every time money went in, snatched it out. So I prayed about it, and the Lord placed it on my spirit. I started my company. My company's sole purpose was to create a place where if you wanted to publish a book and you wanted to pay for it yourself, you would be able to do so and be in complete control. Now, I don't go out and sell your book for you. I don't go out and hustle for you. That's the hustle factor you have to have. And we actually talk about that when we're going through the process of creating your book. You need to know what your hustle factor is before you even come to us, because you'll be sitting in the house with 100 or 200 or 300 books and no way to get them out to the world. So you need to know what you're getting into before you say, oh, I want to be a published author. Being a published author has nothing to do with the books that's sitting there looking at you. Being a published author says, how are you going to get your butt up out of the house and make sure people buy your book? And do you even know how to offer your book in a way a person goes, oh, okay, I need one of those? That part, you got to decide how it's going to be, because I can't sell your book for you. I used to try to do that, and then I realized I was taking away from my own profit margin by trying to sell books from somebody else. No longer. I will help you create it. I will help get you in your boat. I will even shove you out in the water and give you a good push. If you drown, it is because you don't know the God I know. I'm just being real with it. If you drown, it's because you don't know the God I know, because the God I know knows I got to get up sometimes when I don't want to get up. And I got to go to events sometimes when I don't want to go. And I got to sometimes stand there for 7, 8, 9 hours and sell 3 or 4 or 5 books. But you know what? I might have shook 1,000 hands. And in shaking those 1,000 hands, I got to smile at every person that I shake hands with, and hand a card to every person I shake hands with, and work on being a reason that they say, I'd like you to come and speak here, or I'd like you to come and sit and talk with these individuals. I'd like to order 10 books a week later, a month later. And you got to be prepared for that. And a lot of folks aren't. I know, because I've published their books. And I know how many books they're selling, because when they go to place their orders, I know how often you're ordering books. And it's no disrespect to anybody. Listen, when you buy as many your own book as you want, I can't make you buy your own book, but I know how many folks is really out here grinding. I know how many folks are just happy being published. There's 2 different type of authors, guys. There's authors who are just happy to say they published authors, and then there's authors that's out here realizing that if I'm going to make some gas money, I got to get out here and grind. Like I said, there are 2 different type of authors. There are authors who are happy to say they are published. They will tell you they're published 3 times over. You don't see a picture at them at an event. You don't see nothing. They just want to be able to say, I published 3 books. And then there's the other author. He's trying to sell books everywhere he goes or she goes, because they know that's the only way these books is going to get sold. And they not waiting to make somebody's top 10 list. They going out and make sure that somebody is sitting home going, yo, this is an outstanding dude or chick that I met, and this is an outstanding book that they sold me. And then they tell somebody else, and it goes from there. But I digress. So with BraveN Publishing, I started the business in 2010. And since 2010, we have worked on officially 28 different books. 3 of my own, so take those 3 off the table. 25 books with various authors. 2 of the authors have done 2 books with us. So we've done 2 books with 2 different authors. And we've done everything from history to poetry to fiction to teenage fiction, memoirs, poetic anthologies. And I'm proud of every piece of work that we've done. I may not be happy with the financial results, but I'm happy with the product. And as I said, I can't stress money because I can only do what I can do, and I can only work as hard as I can work. And I have to trust that God has reasons when things doesn't happen at the time that it happens. But as this scope started off, I will always celebrate the small success, because it is through those small success that God whispers in your ears, you making it happen, son. And you have to trust that. You have to trust him. And you have to trust that when he says that to you, it's because he knows that you're right where he needs you to be. Because he may not show you that just around that bend is more than you could have ever dreamed about. But I need you to fight to get there. I need you to fight. I need you to stay focused. I need you to deal with disappointment. I need you to deal with the lack of book sales, because it is the lack of book sales that's going to cause you to go back in the house and be so angry that you turn to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different web pages. And that 11th one is going to be the one that actually clicks to something that he's had for you. But he needed you to fight through that, because now when you go out here, he needed you to have that fortitude for what he has in front of you. Many of us don't understand that, and they don't know why that is. It is because, think of it as a parent. We all know when you give a child something that they do not deserve, they do not know how to deal. But when a child's earned it, when a child has set up their lemonade stand, when a child has cleaned that yard, when a child has painted that house, when a child has gone out and done his paper route or her paper route, look at the joy in their face when they come through the door, money they earned. Look how they come home and they can't wait to tell you about what their day was like when they have put the work in. As parents, we celebrate them and go, let me add to your little total there. What you got, a little $13? I'll match that with $13. Well, God ain't no different. You get home from a hard night at a book signing and you drop to your knees and say, God, why do I do this? I was there for 10 hours and I only sold 2 books. And you get a phone call from one of the 2 people that you sold the books to that says, can you come speak at my church? And the love offering is more than you would even thought was legally allowed to give to you. And you look up and go, why, Lord? Don't ask why. It's because those 2 people is who he wanted you to meet. He heard your prayers and he opened up the door for you. So you have to celebrate the small successes. You have no idea where they're leading you to. And if you start to add them up, you might have more small successes than some people have major successes. Let me say that again. You might have more small successes than some people have major successes over a longer period of time. So then I'll ask you this question. Who's really successful? Who's really successful? Some of the same people that people are crying about and watching don't change lives. I believe I'm changing lives. So I can't tell you if I'm more successful than some of the people you see on TV, but what I can tell you is I'm successful to me. I believe I'm successful in the eyes of God. I know I'm successful in the eyes of my wife. And I know all the clients that have worked with us haven't heard any negative reviews yet. So I know I'm successful to them. So I'm good. So let me go. My name has been KLBELVIN. Well, still is KLBELVIN. And I appreciate you watching the scope if you watched it to the end. And if you jumped in as a replay viewer, I appreciate it. I appreciate the hearts. I appreciate the shares. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at main office at bravenpublishing.com. I am on all social networks. Let me move up. The wife is here. Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter. Just search KLBELVIN. Come on, darling. And hey, what's up, baby? My website is www.bravinpublishing.com, www.bravin, publishing.com. And again, I am super excited at the idea that our book, someone from one of our books, is going to be celebrated. So I cannot wait to get all the final information. I will make sure that I post that and scope about that. You will actually start to see me on Blab. Shout out to my brother Glenn for giving me the information. I am thinking about some things that we can do. So you will definitely start to see me on Blab because there's some people that I want to talk to, and I would love to share that interaction with you. And I think you'll get to learn a lot more about who I am, as well as some of the people that I am trying to connect with. So be on the lookout. Bravin Publishing. My question before I leave is, who have you helped? Who have you helped today besides yourself? Have you made a difference in someone's life? I'm gonna ask you like 3 questions like The Walking Dead. Who have you helped? Who have you offered assistance to? And what random act of kindness have you granted someone today? Who have you helped? Who have you offered assistance to? And what random act of kindness have you just bestowed on somebody? Do those 3 things daily and watch how your life changes. Do those three things every day and watch how the Lord will start to reward you because of your service to somebody else. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember your clock to go forward on Sunday. And my final question, why haven't you picked up a Bravin Publishing book? Why haven't you picked up a KLBELVIN book? You waiting for me to blow up? I'm already there. Take it easy. God bless.